welcome to another episode of Ranking. Well, what was going to be another episode of Ranking. I'm doing this one audio only, by the way, purely because I'm on the sofa and I'm comfy. That's it, that's pure laziness is the reason. But it works out well for you guys because you get pictures of Doctor Who and video clips of Doctor Who rather than just my face. So, yeah, swings and roundabouts. Doctor Who returns this year, and I thought now would be a good time to rank all 10 seasons from the current run of the show, and well, that was the plan, and I still will do it, but not in this video. I started writing out what I wanted to say, and I plan to touch on some of my thoughts on where the show is now, and where it's going, and those thoughts escalated, and now it's just become a video all to itself. So here's a bit about where I am with my love of Doctor Who. I've seen most episodes that are available from the entirety of the show over the years, like 1963 to now, but now I'm at a point where I don't know if I'll carry on. The end of the Capaldi-Moffat era seemed to me to be a good place to leave the show. It very much is the end of an era, more so than any other era's ended. It's the perfect jumping off point if this is where you want to end things. And nothing I'm hearing about Chris Chibnall and his plans make me even remotely interested in continuing. To address the gender-swapping elephant in the room, yes, that is one of the reasons. But before you go all, he hates women, burn him, on me, that's not the case. Jodie Whittaker is a fantastic actress. I loved her in Broadchurch, and she was brilliant in Attack the Block. My issue is purely with changing the gender. I just find it's a touch too silly. I mean, yeah, I know, this is the same show that once insinuated someone was having sexual relations with a paving slab, but we each have our own limits and our own personal limits on what we can wrap our heads around when it comes to suspending disbelief, and this is mine. I hated it when they did it with the Master, however great the character of Missy was, and I hate it now. Like that moment in the season 9 finale where the Time Lord just suddenly turned into a Time Lady, I just found it really silly. It took me out of the moment. It took me out of the moment when Missy revealed she was the Master, and it took me out of the moment when the Doctor changed into Doctor 13. But just to be clear, if they brought the Rani back and made her a man, I would have exactly the same problem. This isn't me being annoyed that a woman is taking over the show. I'm not that insecure. It's just something I can't wrap my head around when it comes to a character randomly swapping gender. I just can't. I can't wrap my head around it. I can't explain why. But yeah, it's a problem I've got. But it's not man into woman. It's just gender swapping in general. Man into woman, woman into man. Same thing. Same problem. As for Chris Chibnall, while I'm aware I don't know him personally, I don't really care for the guy. A lot of fans of Doctor Who, and many of them long-term, are concerned about the gender change. Some of them for misogynistic reasons, yeah, and some of them for more innocent reasons. But it's appeared that everyone who's voiced concerns about it is being tarnished with the same brush, and Chibnall's done nothing to reassure them. It's almost like the production team want these fans gone, which is strange because a large portion of the fans have got concerns about this, like quite a lot of them. As for his writing, well, the first season of Broadchurch was stunning. It was really good, but it went down very quickly from there and fizzled out with a final run last year. Torchwood was extremely shaky under his run, with the only run of episodes that were consistently stunning being Children of Earth, a season he had no involvement in. Also, by the way, he wrote Cyberwoman, and the picture of that says it all, really. As for his Doctor Who episodes, the best of the bunch was The Power of Three, and even that stumbled at the conclusion. 42 was a mess, The Hungry Earth Cold Blood two-parter was dull, and Dinosaurs on a Spaceship was harmless fun, but it was hardly anything to write home about. I did enjoy Pond Life and PS, but they were just webisodes, so they don't really count. My point is, I don't understand why Chibnall was seemingly the right person to take over the show. Stephen Moffat, and say what you will about his tenure in charge, he wrote some of the best episodes of the show. Blink, The Girl in the Fireplace, The Doctor Dances. His track record before taking over spoke for itself. Chibnall? Not so much. And the fact of the matter is, every new bit of information that's been released about the show has just made me less and less interested. The 13th Doctor's outfit? Well, I mean, I don't like it, but that alone wouldn't cause me not to watch. Besides, it's hard to get an angle on what the Doctor will be like based on an outfit alone, although bad outfits equaling bad Doctors does have a precedence. Besides, I don't think Whittaker will be the problem. As I've said, she's a fine actress and perfectly capable of being a good Doctor. The problems are just with everything else around her. For starters, Season 11 will only be 10 episodes long. We've already been down an episode over the past 3, I think it is, seasons, and now we're losing 2 more. Each episode will apparently run a little bit longer. I think I've heard 50 minutes per episode, with the opening episode being just over an hour, but this still means far less individual stories. If Chibnall, and it is an if, plans to build his own story arcs into the show like Davis and Moffat did before him, That means we'll be left with a real minimal amount of individual episodes. The first episode will likely be set up, we'll probably have one or two in the middle, based on sort of the season story, and then the last 2 episodes will probably be a 2-parter. This would leave about 5 episodes just to be singular episodes detailing a single adventure. This is speculation, it may not happen, but just looking at the way the show's worked before, it stands to reason this will be the case. Individual stories are the show's bread and butter. The overarching season arcs have actually been the worst part of the show for a while now. But yeah, this is all speculation. It may just be 10 episodes linked only by character, but given Chibnall's writing style and the history of the show, I doubt it. Then there's the companions, and we have 3 of them. 3. Again, there's only 10 episodes here. I raised this point to someone else, and they countered me with, well, when Doctor Who started, there were 3 companions, and yeah, that's true. William Hartnell's Doctor had Susan, Ian and Barbara, but it was a very different show back then. Character development wasn't high on the show's to-do list, and the companion stories have changed a lot since the show was revived. Now they get just as much, if not more focus than the Doctor him, now herself. How is that going to work in a 10-episode season when there's a new Doctor to introduce who's just gone through the biggest change in the show's history? Unless the companions are just going to be relegated to bit players again. But if that's the case, what's the point of them? Graham, Brian and Yasmin seem doomed to be underdeveloped characters in a cluttered show. And again, I keep having to emphasise the fact that this is just speculation and I may be wrong, but at the moment it's another reason why I just can't get excited for the show to return. I'll also miss Murray Gold. I know a lot of people have an issue with him and claim that his music is too loud and too powerful, and well, I disagree. So many episodes of the show have been boosted by an incredible score from this guy. I mean, look at The Rings of Akhaten. It was a terrible episode, but I still love rewatching it purely for that incredible music that plays near the end, you know, when Matt Smith's giving his big powerful speech.
Can you hear them? All these people who lived in terror of you and your judgment. All these people whose ancestors devoted themselves, sacrificed themselves to you. Can you hear them singing? Oh, you like to think you're a god? You're not a god.
If the music isn't that level of epic anymore, a large part of what makes this show stand out will be lost. It also seems that the show is going to become issue-driven. There's been rumblings about Chibnall wanting it to become an educational show like it was when it was originally created. I've got issues with both of these things. The odd bit of social commentary is fine, but I watch something like Doctor Who for escapism. I want to forget about the real world, because let's face it, the real world's crap when I'm watching it, and I want to enjoy these crazy adventures in time and space. I don't want to be thinking about real world problems. Every now and then, sure. I mean, the Family of Blood episodes dealt with racism and war in a wonderful way, but I wouldn't want every episode to be like that. And maybe it won't be. But it's certainly the impression that Chibnall's giving with what little he's said. As for the educational aspect, well, it was educational for its first run, and that idea was very quickly abandoned because the sci-fi stories, such as the second episode, The Daleks, were the ones that made the show what it is. Why go back to that when it clearly didn't work at the time? This show is meant to be fun. Again, for probably the 5th time, I just want to stress the point, it's all speculation, and that's why I've called this video Why I Might Stop Watching Doctor Who, not Why I Am. It could come out swinging and give us the best run of episodes since the show began, I just highly doubt it. I actually want it to. I'd love to be able to do a video on why I was wrong and how Chris Chibnall exceeded all expectations. It's just with the evidence presented, I don't see how that can happen. Before I go, I just want to reiterate a point. The Doctor Who fandom has always been the best fandom around. Every fan loves this show so much, and almost always we've got on. More than any other group of fans, Doctor Who fans have been able to respect each other's opinions and to debate points passionately, yet with respect. That's all gone a bit down the toilet lately. The amount of vitriol that's been spewed from some so-called fans of the show since Jodie Whittaker was announced as the Doctor has been troubling. And that's on both sides of the fence. Those that think a woman can't play the Doctor are clearly ignorant. Of course a woman can, and Whittaker's a fine choice to do it. But those who are so determined that the Doctor should be played by a woman are also part of the problem. Not everyone, but those who will shoot down anybody for daring to say they aren't happy with the choice are just as problematic as those who think a woman can't do it. There are other reasons than misogyny, it's just certain people don't seem to want to realise that. Like me, I have an issue with gender swapping whichever way it goes. It's a bit annoying that I do, to be honest. It's one of the things stopping me from looking forward to a show that's been a huge part of my life. But it's not because I don't think a female has what it takes to bring this character to life, as that's just stupid. So just remember that just because someone has concerns with it, it doesn't mean they're women-hating scum. So this video wasn't what I intended it to be when I started writing it, so I'm going to go and start working on that season ranking list now. Are you excited for season or series 11 of Doctor Who? Counter my concerns, tell me why they aren't a problem, and tell me how they can work. I'd love to be talked around so I can start thinking of Doctor Who in an optimistic way again. Just if you could be polite and respectful, that'd be great. As with liking and subscribing, do like this video if you did like it. If you fancy subscribing, that'd be great too. You can get in touch with me on Twitter at JoePJulians, and thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you on the next video.